Back in the late 1960s, when I was born, Land Rover decided to combine the humble station wagon with an off-road 4x4 to create the first Range Rover, or in other words, the original luxury SUV. Now, Ford is trying to do the same with the new Ranger Platinum. Apparently, the world's first mid-size luxury ute. I'm Byron Mathioudakis for CarsGuide.com.au, here to find out whether the Ranger Platinum is just another truck in drag or Ford's Ranger Rover, as my mum might say. Hi mum. Okie dokie, let's go. The Platinum lives up to its name by starting from an eye-watering $78,190 before on-road costs. That's nearly 6k more than the equivalent Wildtrak V6, but nigh on 10k less than the Ranger Raptor. Plus, the Platinum gets its own special features. This is a pretty blingy ute with lashings of chrome, along with fancy matrix LED headlights that can help drivers see through corners, 20-inch wheels, and a black contrasting roof option to help your neighbours think you've bought the Fairlane of Rangers, though that paint effect is lost on our all-black test vehicle. Furthermore, the Platinum scores a much wider digital instrument cluster from the Raptor, cooled as well as heated front seats, memory function for the driver's seat, a toasty steering wheel for freezing winter mornings, pre-installed auxiliary switches for accessories, 10-speaker premium audio, and pleated leather trim to help switch things up inside. Out back, the tailgate has a classy soft open action, while there's a segment-first slidable tub rack system and roof rails with nifty folding racks. That's quite a lot, but is a 6k's worth, since the cheaper Wildtrak also scores electric front seats, a 12-inch central touchscreen, ambient lighting, adaptive cruise control, a trailer brake controller, a powered roller shutter, zone lighting, 360-degree camera views, and auto park assist. And, like all Rangers, the Platinum safety card is an impressive one, featuring a whole raft of driver assist technology, along with some segment-first active as well as passive safety systems. Read my full review at carsguide.com.au for more details. Now, the Munitalp Regnor Droff Ford Ranger Platinum backwards comes with these matrix LED headlights, a bedazzled grille which is quite chromy, probably the best looking alloy wheels you can get on a Ranger range right now, and they're 20-inch in size, more Platinum badging, and around the back a special roof loading system, an electric roller shutter, and a tailgate that drops down by itself, which is really good if you don't want to hit someone short or a child on the head. Plus, these roof racks swing ingeniously out the way, like so they don't whistle and make noise on the freeway or motorway. That's smart thinking. As per every modern Ranger, the Platinum provides a large, roomy, and mostly user-friendly interior experience. The fundamentals are spot on. Great front seats with sufficient long-distance comfort and support, good vision, superb ventilation, stacks of storage, and an excellent driving position ahead of a dashboard that's fairly straightforward to figure out. So what makes a Platinum different to, say, a Wildtrak? Well, for starters, it gets the Everest dashboard. So it gets this twin glove box arrangement, stitched vinyl-like material on the dashboard, center console, and door cards, leather pleated seats, and they're perforated with the word Platinum on them. Plus, they're heated and cooled, and both of them, up front anyway, are electrically operated. But the driver's also has a memory function, and probably most usefully, it has this 12.4 inch digital display, and that's larger than the usual 10.1 inch or so that you get in other ranges. So that's to remind the driver when they're driving that you are in a Platinum and not in some lowly Wildtrak or XLT, perish the thought. That widescreen digital instrumentation is probably the best yet in a Ranger, being both clear and informative. After some familiarisation, navigating the multimedia system is simple, with good old physical controls and buttons for essentials like audio, vehicle systems and climate controls. And that surround view camera is a boon for parking in tight spaces. But the electronic gear lever can be a bit fiddly, and the thumb-actuated rocker switch manual mode for the 10-speed auto just doesn't feel very intuitive compared to, say, a set of paddle shifters. Out back, we've got to say that no dual cab ute can be regarded as a luxury car because it's too compromised. There's not really enough space for an angled backrest when you also want to maximise cargo volume. So given those constraints, the Ranger Platinum does pretty well and is probably best in class in terms of having a decent amount of space, a quite comfortable cushion. The backrest isn't too far up, so you won't get a backache after a short trip. And you get this folding armrest with 2 cup holders, 2 map pockets, although who carries maps with them anyway, a USB-C and USB-A port, air vents, grab handles, coat hooks, and, if I may step out again, using these XY Falcon style door handles, which allow for a single movement touch, you get storage underneath here. So a little bit of storage so you can hide a tablet or whatever contraband you're carrying, plus jack, spare wheel related gubbins. So for a dual cab ute, it's pretty comfy back here, but luxurious, no. And finally, unlike the Nissan Navara, well, the top versions anyway, you don't get an opening glass portion here, which is a small thing, but it would be really nice. But no Ranger has that, so that's a shame. The Ranger Platinum is unique in the world by having this flexible rack system, which allows you to put planks of wood or plank, if you're so inclined, depending on the size of your load. So this drops down and it slides forwards and backwards in 5 different positions, which is cool. And that's on top of the usual things you get with the Ranger, especially above Wildtrak, such as this electric shutter, a 12 volt socket, a rib floor so you can kind of secure cargo a bit more easily, plus the usual tow hooks. There's zone lighting, there's even cup holders here, and this tailgate is damped so it's easy to lift up as well, so you're not like tearing a muscle closing the tailgate. Plus you get a step here, and just want to demonstrate, this is very easy to do from one side. So there are 5 different positions and it locks in place like that. What else? Oh yes, towing capacity. Because the Platinum weighs 50 kilograms more than the usual Wildtrak V6 equivalent, it has 100 kilograms less payload. So that comes in at 912 kilograms. So you may want to keep that in mind if you actually intend to use this for work. One other thing, this damn tailgate is a great idea and we're very glad to see it, but on the other side of the car, under the bonnet, there's something missing. 2 things annoys me about the latest Ranger. First thing is you have to be on the other side of the car to open the bonnet, and secondly, unlike the previous version, when you open this bonnet, Ford's taken away the struts, so you have to use this flimsy rod, like it's 1968. There you go. That mucks me up each and every time. Ford. Not very premium then, unlike the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel, which is still a rarity in this class. Even Volkswagen leans on Ford's technology with the latest Amarok. It's a shame Ford didn't squeeze a bit more muscle out of it though, which means your poshest Ranger makes the same 184 kilowatts and 600 newton meters as the lowly XLT and its upstart sport versions. It sends torque to either the rear in default 4x2 mode or all four wheels via a 10-speed automatic transmission. No manual is available, sadly. Going V6 means electronic on-demand four-wheel drive with full-time all-wheel drive labelled 4A that varies drive to the front or rear wheels as required. Drivers can also dial up 4x4 high or 4x4 low ranges that lock the four-wheel drive system in place if you need to go bush. There are also 6 driving modes: normal, eco, tow/haul, and slippery for on-road driving, and mud/ruts and sand for off-road use. Each changes the engine's throttle, transmission, braking, traction and stability control software to suit the environment. Speaking of which, there's also an electronic rear differential lock which can be activated via the Sync 4A multimedia screen for improved off-road traction. And, just in case you were wondering, being a Ranger and not a Raptor, the rear suspension remains leaf-sprung, which means it does not adopt coils. Our time with the Platinum revealed some interesting fuel consumption figures. Officially, it should average 8.4 litres per 100 kilometres, which roughly averages to about 950 kilometres from the 80-litre tank. Our trip computer hovered around the 9.8 mark, but when we refueled, we averaged 9.5. Keep in mind that while that included mostly inner urban and highway driving with the aircon on and 2 people on board, there was no towing or off-roading and only light loads being carried. We did engage the 4 auto all-wheel drive system in bad weather though. Frankly, that's probably a bit better than we expected. Unless you've been living under a rock, there's a new Ranger in town, and the big news for this generation is the 3-litre turbo diesel engine. Frankly, I wish more utes offered an engine as seamless and smooth and gutsy as this. It's fast off the line, it responds well when you want to overtake, and if you're towing something with its 3,500 kilogram towing capacity, you probably will be towing, it does it with ease. It's a real feather in the cap of this car. Likewise, Rangers are renowned for being the best driving in terms of steering and handling. I wouldn't say it's car-like to drive, but it's the closest darn thing you will get to a car-like ute, particularly one of this size. It's got really good steering, it corners well, and it's enjoyable to drive. So that's the second feather in the cap of the latest Ranger. And the third one is how supplely the car rides. Even though it has leaf spring rear suspension, it handles bumps really well. It's not thrown off course by crosswinds or headwinds, and it just has a rock solid feel on the road. Great road holding, great handling. It reflects the fact that this car's DNA is Australian. This car was designed and engineered in Australia, and it shows. The surprise with the Platinum is that it rides on 20-inch wheels, which is larger than what even the Raptor rides on, but it doesn't suffer in terms of refinement or comfort or road noise. It's still as quiet and as civilized a ute as you can expect at any price point. If I've got a couple of downsides to talk about, it's that the Ranger has a bit of wind noise at speed on the freeway because sometimes there's rustle coming from the roof racks. The turning circle is quite large. It's I think it's 12.9 meters circumference, so even then it's not an unwieldy car to drive around town, and that's primarily because in this specification in the Platinum you get a surround view camera which is absolutely spot on. That and the sensors means that you can confidently and easily place this even in a tight parking spot. It's really a difficult car to fault when you take into account that this is, after all, a ladder frame chassis dual cab workhorse. That it also manages to be very comfortable and refined is just a bonus. Rangers come with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty with 5 years roadside assistance. And that's just average nowadays, and behind the longer warranties offered by Mitsubishi, Isuzu, GWM, LDV and others. A fixed price service scheme is also available. Owners will pay $329 for the first 4 general services for up to 4 years or 60,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. Some Ford dealers also provide free loan vehicles, which is handy. So, is the Platinum the Ranger Rover of medium utes? Given that it steers, rides and handles better than probably any medium ute I can think of, that answer is a qualified yes. But keep in mind that even the base Ranger XL does all that stuff pretty well, which means that the Platinum really is just a little bit of extra tinsel for quite a bit of extra money. Good if you can afford it. Otherwise, it's a little Range Rover priced. Here's my score on the screen right now. Don't forget, you can read the full review at carsguide.com.au. And as always, thanks for watching.